Folks at home, welcome back to the channel. Today we got an exciting one for you. We're going to talk about the baits that we love to fish. Two new ones here, the Sleeper Gill and the Savage Gear Structure Gill. We're going to get a ton of underwater footage, but when the water warms up, the bluegill come in, and we are going to talk about the baits that we are going to throw at bass when they're ready to eat those gills. So let's head underwater. We'll see you there. That, friends, is why you throw the glide bait. Fishing shallow in the pre-spawn, I'm trying to imitate bluegill. There's a number of baits that I'm gonna throw. The first one that I'm gonna throw in my arsenal is the glide bait. Now, there are two categories of glide baits that we want to think about. One is the super expensive glide baits that are great in open water. They're the bigger models, the 8, the 7-inch versions. They've got a big, wide glide. They're also $300, $400, $200. Those aren't the baits that I'm talking about here. When bluegill move up and the bass follow them up and spawn is getting ready to happen, bass are cover oriented. Cover glides are gonna be more reactive. So your Chad Shads, your S-Waver 168s. I'm a big believer in finding baits for bargain prices that will do what I need them to do. The S-Waver 168, this bait is chewed this time of the year, because I'm fishing it around structure. I'm fishing it around docks. I'm fishing it around seawalls. I'm fishing it around brush and weeds and water willow in the water. And what I'm doing is I'm using this bait to call out fish. Got a nice one on the glide. Nice bass. There we go. On the glide. That, friends, is why you throw the glide bait right there. Nice big bass on the glide. That's a beautiful fish right there. On the river to see S-Waver, nice fish. Right, I'm calling fish out from the cover, drawing power, right? The 168, as you can see here, literally will get bit by fish in the 1 to 2 to 3 pound class range, right? It's a great bait. It doesn't do great in open water, but it does great around cover, right? I like it in bluegill colors and trout colors. It doesn't really matter. But what I'm throwing is a bigger profile bait. It's better than the jerk bait this time of the year. I'm going to say that, and I'll stand by it. It has more drawing power up shallow, and it does a fantastic job of making those fish react to it. Throw an S-Waver 168. You will not regret it, especially when those fish are on bluegill, right? Great bait to throw. Second bait that I'm going to throw when those fish move up shallow is the Berkeley Gilly, right? 4.3-inch Gilly is a straight-up killer. The 3-point-something-inch Gilly is also, 3.3-inch Gilly is a straight-up killer. I rig it in two ways, right? One, I put a jig hook through and put Nico weights in the belly and run it as a swim bait. If I'm covering water or scattered vegetation, that's how I'm going to fish it, right? If I'm flipping cover, I'm going to free rig this bad boy. It looks amazing on a free rig. It looks amazing on a swim bait. This is a bait that a lot of people have put down and put away because they did not rig it correctly. Berkeley did not do a good job on showing people how to rig this, but I spent hours of time rigging this bait because I believed that it would get bit. And I found two ways that really, truly will get bit. That jig top hook through there, that flipping hook with those Nico weights, and swimming this bait, it's ultra realistic. Right? It looks great. It looks like a mat shad or something like that coming through there. Free rigging, it looks like a wounded bluegill coming down, spiraling down. Looks amazing in the water column, right? A great way to get bit. My third bait coming in here is new this year. It is the Mega Bass Dark Sleeper Gill, right? This is a 3/4 ounce to 1/2 ounce bait. It looks amazing in the water. You can throw this anywhere. It's like a jig, right? This bait literally comes through all kinds of cover. It's made and designed to come through weeds and shallow vegetation and cover. I love skipping this bait up under docks. You can skip it way back under there. It's a 3/4 ounce flat-sided bait. You can skip it way up under there. It's going to come through anything. Docks, rocks, wood, whatever you're fishing, shallow cover, you can get this bait in there. This is great amongst brush piles. Sam has fished this bait in brush piles down in Evansville and straight up kills on it, right? Because he fishes it like a jig. It was made to do that. It was made to fish that way. It's a great fishing bait. It looks really good in the water. Pick up this bait if you're around bluegills. You're going to get bit, and it's going to be the right kind. Now, the next one is kind of a tie. You have my standard here in the Megabass Dark Sleeper. And then you have a newcomer here in the Savage Gear Structure Gill. Now, they look the same. They are the same bait inherently. The Megabass is a little bit more supple, but what I'm looking to imitate here are young of the year sunfish who are small. Now, I like the Savage Gear because it's really durable. It's got some orange belly in there. It's got some nice purples in it. I like the Megabass, this Megabass because it literally has caught me 500 fish conservatively, right? It's just a bait that I believe in that gets bit. This bait has been imitated by every major bait company for a reason. It's like a tube if you want it to be and drag it along the bottom. It's also like a jig if you want it to be. It's also like a swim bait if you want it to be. It's a straight up good looking bait. Now, where the Megabass suffers is you're going to burn through a lot of them. The Savage Gear is the same bait effectively. It has a little bit different fall, but it's doing the same thing for a fraction of the price. I'm a big believer in finding baits that'll do the same thing as high quality, top quality baits if they're going to do the same thing. And looking underwater at this bait and fishing this bait a little bit, I believe that this one's going to stand up really, really well, catch the same kind of fish as the Dark Sleeper, and just do a generally good job for me, especially when those bass are keyed in on those bluegill and those sunfish this time of the year. Great way to target those fish, right? Next up, at bait 5 and 6, if you will, are creature baits. Now, I fish 2 creature baits this time of the year almost exclusively. The first being the Berkeley Havoc Pit Boss. It's one of the best shapes to ever hit bass fishing. It's got hundreds of thousands of dollars of tournament wins on this bait. It is a staple in my arsenal. It looks great on a free rig. It looks great on a Tokyo rig. It looks great on a Texas rig. It looked great, great, great on different jig heads, right? I run this bait on all kinds of stuff, and it looks good. A jig trailer even. The Berkeley Havoc Pit Boss, especially around bluegill eating bass, are just amazing baits to throw. It's that profile, that torpedo shape with those flapping claws on the back. It looks just like a bluegill. It's going to get nailed, right? Slowly creeping into that spot as the #1 bait I'm going to pick up and flip is the Guggen Baits Bandito Bug. Love or hate the Guggens, this bait is a knockout, right? Scott Martin just won a tournament on Okeechobee with it. It straight up will catch them. It's another profile bait. It looks great on a free rig. It looks great on a Nico rig. It looks great on an unweighted Texas rig. On a Carolina rig. This bait simply will catch them. Now, the downside of this is you're going to burn through a lot more Bandito bugs than you're going to burn through pit bosses because this bait's a little bit more durable. But this bait will straight up catch giants for you and do a good job. Half of imitating bluegill is being in the right place. The other half is picking up baits that are going to draw fish in and bite. So if you want to catch more bass in the spring, imitate bluegill. Fish the places where bluegill are going to be. Those bass are always going to be far behind. Pick up a glide bait if you haven't thrown it. Doesn't have to be a super expensive one. Pick up that gilly if you haven't thrown it. You're gonna benefit from throwing baits that mimic the forage that bass are eating this time of the year. If you guys enjoy the information we've been giving you on the channel, please like, subscribe, support us on Omnia. All these baits are available on Omnia Fishing. Everything that you buy from Omnia helps us do more on the channel, right? So, throw baits that look like bluegill, you won't be disappointed. Throw bigger baits than average, you're going to catch bigger fish. And don't be afraid to get outside of the box, rig things in different ways, find different ways to present baits in ways that fish have not seen. Be different from everybody else, guys. We'll see you out there next time. Thanks for hanging out with us.